chapter 16. In the book Self-Destruction, we're talking about self-surrender. You know, because a lot of times we fight God. Let's just be honest. We fight God. He's trying to work on our behalf, and we're worrying, and we're crying, and we're judging everything He allows to happen, as opposed to sitting back, surrendering everything to Him. And when we find surrender is where we find our true sense of worship. There's so much power in worship. You will gain your victory when you surrender your all to Christ. Look at King Jehoshaphat. What took place in the Bible? I mean, literally, he had an army and he had a camp. His tribe, his people, they were being threatened by 3 other rival armies. And all 3 of those armies at the same time were coming to kill and destroy them. And what did Jehoshaphat do? He went to God, he prayed, he worshiped. He said, God, I can't fight this battle. And the Spirit of God fell upon one of the young men in King Jehoshaphat's tribe. And the young man went to him and said, King, God told me that we're going to win the battle tomorrow. We are going to get the victory. Matter of fact, God said we're not even going to have to fight. And what did they do? That next morning, King Jehoshaphat, he got his people together. He appointed some people to sing, to cover the choir and the praise and worship team. He assembled them together and they marched into battle worshiping God. That's power, y'all. They surrendered. They waved their right flag to God and said, God, we surrender to you. We can't fight this battle. And God said, I will fight this battle for you. And do you know that when they got there, those 3 armies that were coming to fight them, in the fighting, it turned on each other. They killed each other. Why? Because they heard the worship, they heard the praise from King Jehoshaphat and his people. And then there was so much stuff on the ground. There was so much stuff left over that their army left from all their swords and armor and everything, that they were able to use that stuff for them in their camp. And they had so much stuff that it took them 3 days to carry everything back. What does that tell me? That worship confuses the enemy. When we get to a point where we completely surrender to God, our worship confuses the enemy. You see, the devils and the demons, they're used to picking on us, and we cry and we complain and we get depressed. But I'm learning through the Word of God that He wants us to get to a point where we get encouraged, where we get strong in Him, regardless of how the situation is looking. What about the next time something comes and attacks you and you have a hard time, you fall and get your worship on? There is power there, because what's happening is we're surrendering our power to God. We're saying, God, I can't handle it. I trust in you. I believe in you. I need you to take care of this for me. And there's power there. There's power there. And the only way, I'm telling you right now, the only way that we will gain the victory in our Christian walk is if we surrender completely to God. Sometimes God has to place you in the enemy's territory to put you in miracle territory. There is a lot of power when we surrender everything to God, when we throw up our hands and we say, God, I'm going to worship you. I'm not worried about how the situation looks. I trust in you and I believe in you. So I will surrender everything to you and completely worship you. That's what we're talking about here in chapter 16. Moving past ourselves and our situation and acknowledging our victory in Christ. Join me in chapter 17 as we continue on this journey of self-destruction.